absolutely dynamite.
With just a few simple tricks, this restaurant-style crispy salmon can be all yours. So first off though, I'm going to start on our potato salad, and this is a Japanese style potato salad. So it's kind of like a mix between potato salad and a coarse mash. It is super delicious, super creamy. So I've got some little chunks of potato that I've cooked here in just some boiling salted water. And I want to mix everything through while they're still warm so they can soak up all the goodness. Now I'll season them with a little bit of salt and a little bit of rice vinegar and some Japanese or Kewpie mayonnaise. And then this is a wasabi potato salad, so I want a really good dash of wasabi in here. You can add just as much as you like. And now we just want to mix and mash a little bit. So the texture we're going for is a little bit creamy, a little bit mashed, and then we want a few little chunks of firm potato in there as well. And now finally just some spring onion. And at this point I have to resist eating the entire bowl before dinner. Now the first step towards getting our salmon restaurant style crispy is to get rid of the moisture. So I'm going to pop our salmon onto some paper towel, and you can see all that moisture there left on the plate. Moisture is the enemy of crispness. And then season that skin with some salt. Now in a hot pan, we just want a little bit of oil, just enough to coat the bottom. And now we're going to go really fierce with the heat on the first skin side of that salmon. And that's because we want to get things going crispy and crunchy as soon as possible. And then straight away you want to get a spatula and push down on that salmon fillet so that the skin stays nice and flat on the bottom of that hot pan. And then a little bit of salt. And then just to help even more, if you grab a saucepan lid and push down on all those pieces, that will help keep that salmon fillet really flat against the heat on the bottom. That's going to make every little square inch of skin super crispy. Okay, so I can see that that skin is really nice and deep dark brown, so I'm going to turn that over. And then at this point I want to turn the heat down because we've gone really hard on the heat to get that skin crispy, and now we just want to cook those salmon fillets through until they're blush rosy pink in the middle. Okay, so they look good. Okay, so they've only taken a minute or so, and we're going to take that salmon out, and then we're going to get some butter straight into that pan and cook some asparagus. One pan, less washing up. I just want some of that ultra creamy potato salad. Oh, yum. And a few little stalks of asparagus. And then a beautiful piece of salmon. And then finally just some beautiful little bunches of Japanese pickled ginger. Perfectly cooked seared salmon tossed in a Vietnamese salad with all the crunchy herbaceous bits and pieces. Oh, I love this one. This is my Vietnamese salmon salad. Now this is one of those really great keeper recipes. A keeper recipe is what I call little recipes that you can keep bits and pieces of to make other recipes. All will become clear throughout the video. But the first little keeper element that we're going to make is some pickled vegetables. So this is pickled carrot and daikon. So I've got my carrot here, and this is your daikon radish. So this is a really great vegetable. Seek it out at any Asian grocer, and it's crunchy and it really soaks up all the tangy pickle flavors. So I'm going to peel my carrot first of all. And now I just want some nice little chunky matchsticks if you like. And then the same with your daikon. Now if you can't get this particular Asian daikon, you could just use regular radish, the little round red ones. Just slice them up into little matchsticks as well. Now your traditional pickled vegetables are going to take 2-3 days, a week before they're ready to eat, because you kind of dilute the salt and sugar and vinegar mixture with some water to cover the vegetables and keep them airtight. So we're just going to do a really express version today. I just want really concentrated flavors, no water. I'm going to add some sugar, some vinegar, and a really hefty amount of salt here. And then just mix these through, and those pickled flavors will mature enough in just about 10 minutes or so, enough to be able to use for this salad. And then just keep the extra in your fridge for up to about a week, I find is fine. And you can use it in all kinds of different salads or stir fries. They really add a little kind of tasty pop. So that's what I mean about a keeper recipe. 1, your pickled vegetables, and number 2, we're gonna make a little Vietnamese dressing here that you can keep for a couple of days and use as a dipping sauce as well as an extra salad dressing. Okay, so we need to start off with some fish sauce, some vinegar, sugar, and some garlic. Let's give that a whisk. Oh, and I almost forgot, I want some lime juice as well. Just try this to make sure I've got a good balance of flavor. That is so perfect. This is like my all-purpose Vietnamese dipping sauce and salad dressing that I make all the time. Yum, so good. When it comes to making a really great salad at home, for me, it's all about texture. And even with the one ingredient, which is this salmon, we're gonna get a different range of textures. I wanna go into a really hot pan and get a really lovely, crispy outside on my salmon, but I want the inside to be really soft and juicy and flaky. Just season that second side with a little bit of salt and let the heat work its magic on that first side for a couple of minutes. All right, now take a look at this and see how our patience has been rewarded. Look at that crust, beautiful. Now another couple of minutes on this side, and then I'm going to show you my little trick for testing to see if that salmon fillet is cooked through. All right, so the salmon is looking very good in my opinion. I'm just going to check and see what's happening on the inside by putting a little metal skewer through the side here. That's my top lip. And if it's warm, just barely warm, then I know it's cooked to my liking, because the inside will be really lovely and juicy. If you'd like it further cooked, like really well done, then you're waiting for that skewer to get hot. This is perfect for me. Now for a nice green base and a little bit of peppery kind of flavor, I'm going to start off our salad with some watercress. And then about a cupful, maybe a little more, of some of our pickled vegetables. And even in just that short amount of time, you'll see that they've softened up a little bit. And they have a beautiful sweet tanginess to them. Yum. And then just a little bit of chopping to be done. One of the ingredients I really love in Vietnamese salads is something called perilla leaf. And it's a herb that kind of has like a herby, minty, basil flavor all in one, but quite medicinal as well. It's a bit hard to describe, but it's a really beautiful flavor. I actually find it quite hard to find perilla leaves, but I can find Japanese shiso leaves here in Bangkok, so I'm going to use those instead. They're from the same family, they're fairly similar, and I just take the stem off and roll them up and slice them really fine. But of course, any kind of mixture of Asian herbs is great here. Thai basil or Vietnamese mint is good too. And then some red chili. And some roasted peanuts. Okay, just add those into your salad. Look at that color already. And now let's get into our beautiful salmon here. I want some quite chunky flakes here, and look at that perfect color in there. Tell you what, at times it is such a joy to be cooking in the kitchen. Look at that. And now I want some mint leaves as well, and a very generous drizzling of our little dressing here. And then for some texture, crunch, and flavor, I'm gonna add in some crispy fried shallots. Now just toss that together using minimal force. So I wanna keep that salmon in nice big chunks and then serve it up. Just a little extra drizzle of sauce at the end. And there you go. Look at those beautiful colors. Oh, makes me so happy. Wow. This is the kind of mouthful that really explodes in your mouth. All the different flavors. There's so much going on. There's beautiful herbs and mint, shiso leaves, and then that tangy dressing and that beautifully cooked salmon. Wow. Totally dynamite. Just check out that luscious glaze, guys. Beautiful chunks of salmon, soft, charry leeks. This is my very special Japanese teriyaki salmon skewers. All right, guys, so there are a couple of little tips and tricks I've got for getting the perfect teriyaki skewers at home. First off, we're gonna start with our salmon. So I've got a beautiful piece of salmon here, and what I wanna do is slice it lengthways first, and then I want some quite thick chunks of salmon because of course we want our salmon to cook at the same time as our little rolls of leek. So I want the salmon quite thick. I'd say that's, about a centimetre and a half thick. Okay, so look at those beautiful coral pink pieces. Color just makes me happy already. And now for our leek. I'm just gonna cut the sort of tougher, darker green part off first. And then I wanna slice through this pale part, but not all the way through, just enough so I can open these pieces up and spread them out. Okay, so I always find the sort of outer part to be just that little bit too firm and a bit dry, so I throw that one away. And then just peel off some pieces of that leek. Now, the important thing here, both aesthetically and also for the cooking, because we want an even cooking surface, is to make sure that we get our leek pieces just the same size as our salmon pieces. So I'm gonna have a look here, so around about there. And now grab yourself a skewer. So these have been soaking in water so that they don't burn when they're in the hot pan. And then take a small piece of leek and just roll it up into a tight little cigar shape. So there you have it, and then take your skewer, poke it through the center, and that is one lovely looking leek roll. Okay, now we want our salmon on top of that, and you can see that we've got quite a nice even surface here. The salmon the same sort of thickness as that leek. And now we just continue on in the same fashion. So once you've mastered your leek rolling abilities, you can take this any way you want. You could go with some chicken instead of the salmon. You could go with some cubes of beef as well. So just about any way you like. Look at those beautiful skewers. All they need now is a really luscious glaze. Now I'm gonna use my Marion's Kitchen classic Japanese teriyaki glaze. I love this because it has just the right texture for me. It's not too thick. A lot of commercial teriyakis are too thick and they kind of get gloopy in the pan. What should happen is that all the caramelization and magic needs to happen in the pan. So you need the right texture first of all. So see how that's not too thick? Just the right consistency there. And then I've infused mine with a little bit of garlic and a little bit of ginger as well, just for some extra special oomph. Now I just want to brush each of these beautiful skewers with a generous amount of your teriyaki sauce. And now we're ready for the grill. So this is a perfect thing to be doing on an outdoor grill if it's sunny and lovely and hot where you are. If not, inside is just fine. I recommend a non-stick flat frying pan for this one because no one wants bits of fish stuck to things. That is way too much cleaning up for my liking. Now I just want a little bit of oil in the pan, not too much. And what we want to hear is a very nice sizzle. Perfect. Now I want to work quickly here because I want to get glazing on our salmon while it's cooking before it overcooks. Just
dab the skewers with the sauce and put lots on. So the more sauce you have in the pan, the more it's going to caramelize on the bottom and form a really lovely sticky coating. Now turn that over and you can see we've already got some beautiful color on that salmon. Okay, and then we're just going to glaze, turn, a couple of times or a few times until we get just the right amount of stickiness on the outside. Ah, look at that color. And this is what I'm talking about. So that sauce consistency has now become thick and sticky. That's just what we want. Now we just want to pile these up onto a plate and just a final little sprinkling of spring onion. Now the moment of truth, let's open up a piece of that salmon. And you can see how juicy and beautiful it is on the inside with that sticky charriness on the outside. Just the perfect amount of like savory saltiness on the outside of that fish, but you can still taste the beautiful salmon. Love it. If you've got any comments or questions, pop them below. And if you enjoyed the video, why not hit that subscribe button plus the little bell one, and that way you'll get notified every time I release a new video. Thanks guys.